Record 38, Side 1. Lesson number 38. The 38th lesson. Practical section. The universe and missiles.
I remember when people would, in certain circumstances, exclaim, "It's a small world."
They still do, dear. I said it this morning when I met Peter on the beach, among all those people. We didn't even know he was spending his holidays in this part of the country.
Which all goes to show that it's a small world, right enough, doesn't it?
Yes, I think we can say that. But I feel John has something else in mind, though I haven't the least idea what it is.
What was passing through my mind after reading the newspaper was that we come to the seaside in summer, or maybe go into the country for a few weeks every year, just like our fathers and grandfathers.
Whatever did you find in the paper to set you thinking about holidays? Holidaying isn't against the law, is it?
No, I was thinking about space travel. How would it sound to you if I said, "Let's have a weekend on the moon. I want to see if the earth shines at night too"?
We'd think you'd had a little too much sun, John. That sort of weekend is a long way off.
Perhaps not so long, Mary, really. There have been tremendous advances in recent years, and no one really knows where it will all end.
It must be done gradually, of course, but I think it obvious that man must first land on the moon before attempting more distant planets.
Will Venus be as romantic as it sounds to us, or will it just be a desert?
We can't really tell what we shall find, if ever we do reach these planets, like Mars or Venus, without mentioning the larger and more distant ones.
I suppose man will reach those too in time: Jove, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and perhaps even Pluto. Remember that not much more than 60 years ago, flying was considered ridiculous by all but the few cranks who spent their money and sometimes their lives in trying to fly like birds.
That's quite true, John. But I imagine there will be enormous difficulties of a very different nature to be faced now, despite the fact that men have already flown round the world in missiles.
Every step forward takes scientists nearer another important unknown which must be solved before they can go on to the next problem.
In this challenge is perhaps the real reason for all progress: the desire to know how this or that may be done, and the competition between nations is based not so much on the desire to be more powerful as to be the first.
It's natural to want to be first. That's why there's a great struggle going on in the world today. There are so many first places to be won. First man on the moon, apart from the man in the moon himself. First on Mars, first on Venus.
The fact that man may reach these planets for the first time certainly gives a spur to all research in this field. Arriving second is much less important.
At this point, we can only consider the Russians and the Americans. Apart from these two enormous countries, with almost unlimited resources of both men and materials, no one is really doing a great deal at the moment to further space research.
Do you think that little Europe might become a force in this field too, John?
It's difficult to answer that. Great Britain and Germany have some form of research collaboration at government level, I believe. France and Italy are both carrying out research projects too. But all these will continue to be of relatively small importance unless they are coordinated, and so far they have not added much to the studies which have for many years been carried out in the USA and USSR.
The Russians have been very quiet about their space program, but from what the Americans tell us, we know that missiles are projected into space by very powerful rockets. The stages, as they are called, burn each for a short time, and missiles may be of 2, 3, or 4 stages.
Wouldn't it be terrible if one of the stages didn't work?
I don't think so, really. When people travel in missiles, it is almost certain they'll have rockets also for landing, to break the missile, as it were.
It'd be rather a jolt to land at a few thousand miles an hour, wouldn't it?
That would be impossible, and maybe that's why we shall still be coming here for our holidays for a good number of years yet. Who's coming for a bathe?
I'm going to lie down for an hour, but you two go if you wish.
See you later, Mary. Don't have nightmares.
Side 2, Grammatical Section. Anomalous Verbs, 6th part. May and might. These two verbs, as we already know, are defective, the former interpreting the present tense, and the latter the past, the conditional and the past subjunctive. May and might have a number of meanings according to the sense of the context in which we find them. Here are some examples of their uses and meanings. Permission. He may stay out until 10 o'clock this evening, since it is a special occasion. May I go to the circus this evening, Mother? No, you mayn't, because it finishes too late and you have to be at school early tomorrow morning. No soldier may leave the barracks unless he is properly dressed. Formal instruction. Can may be used in conversational English in place of may when it is evident that permission is intended. Can I have a shilling to go to the cinema, please? If his shoes are ready today, can he call this evening? Might I is often used in a question in place of may I in formal conversation. It is also more polite. Might I borrow your pen a moment, please? Might I help in some way? Possibility or uncertainty. May is used a great deal with this meaning, and cannot be substituted by can or any other verb, defective or otherwise, unless the construction is changed, as we shall see from the following examples. He may do the whole thing tomorrow. Perhaps he will do the whole job before the end of the week. She may be studying very hard now, but I doubt it. It is possible she is studying hard for her exams, but she ought to have begun earlier if she hopes to pass. There is doubt and also a future idea in may. If we use might instead, the doubt is accentuated. He might do the whole thing in a morning, but I don't think he can. If the principal verb in the sentence is in the past tense, then might is used in the dependent clause. John and Mary said they might come next weekend, but they couldn't be certain. We went yesterday because we might not go again for a few weeks. In the interrogative, we may not use may or might when asking about possibility. If I say, "May I finish the book in a few days?" my question will be interpreted rather as asking permission. So, to avoid confusion, we use other verb constructions in preference to may or might in possibility questions. Listen to the following. John may arrive before 6 o'clock. Is John likely to arrive before 6 o'clock? The Blacks may pay us a visit at the weekend. I saw Mr. Black today, and he told me they would love to come. Do you think the Blacks will come to see us at the weekend? I haven't seen Mr. Black since the end of last month. When there is a doubt as to whether a past action did or did not take place, we use may or might along with have plus the past participle. They may have prepared the lesson, but they couldn't answer questions on it. John might have studied English for 4 years, but I certainly shouldn't have said so, considering how badly he speaks it. In this last example, the doubt is again very strong, stronger than in the preceding sentence. It amounts almost to disbelief. May is used in exclamatory expressions of greeting, imprecation, etc. May you live happily for the rest of your days. May the devil take him. May their blood turn to water and drown them. May God bless you all. May your troubles all be little ones. Might is sometimes used to express a formal request, often an authoritative one, as by right, or indicating impatience. They might come in when I call. I'm a very busy man. Jones, you might bring me what you are reading under your desk. Concession clauses, which admit the truth of a possibility and balance it with a contrasting statement, also use may and might. It may be healthy, but it's too cold for me. He might be clever, but he says such ridiculous things at times. In noun clauses, may is used after it is possible and after principal verbs expressing hope or suggestion. It is possible that he may go alone. We hope she may visit us on her way to London. May as well, might as well, are two expressions which give the idea of resignation to a state of affairs or acceptance of something which will give little or no trouble. They are used affirmatively. I may as well do the job since I have come so far. John and Mary might as well sleep here tonight and leave by the 9 o'clock train in the morning.